Active to passive voice. Subject or doer is one who does the action. Verb is the action done. Object or receiver is one on whom the action is done. If the subject or doer is given importance in a sentence, or the person or thing denoted by the subject is active, the verb is said to be in active voice.
The boy ate a mango.
In the above sentence, the boy did the action of eating. So, the boy is the subject. The action was done on a mango. In other words, a mango was affected by the action ate. So, it is the object. Since the subject is given importance, it is given at the beginning. So, the above sentence is in the active voice. If the object or receiver is given importance in a sentence, it is in passive voice. If the person or thing denoted by the subject does not act but receives the action done by something or someone, it is said to be in passive voice. So, when we write in passive voice, the subject of the active voice becomes the object of the passive voice, and the object of the active voice becomes the subject of the passive voice. So, we can rewrite the above example by giving importance to the object that is in passive voice as follows.
A mango was eaten by the boy.
The agreement of verb will change according to the new subject and its number and tense. The new verb will have a be verb followed by the past participle of the verb. Some verb for active voice and passive voice is given in the table. Take a look at it. Conversion of active voice to passive voice.
Example 1. Clouds have covered the sky. Active voice.
Here, clouds is the subject, have covered is the verb, and the sky is the object.
The sky has been covered by clouds. Passive voice. The police caught the thief. Active voice. The thief was caught by the police. Passive voice. The people will welcome the king. Active voice. The king will be welcomed by the people. Passive voice. The coach is kicking the ball. Active voice. The ball is being kicked by the coach. Passive voice. Children like candies. Active voice. Candies are liked by children. Passive voice. The doctor has treated the patients. Active voice. The patients have been treated by the doctor. Passive voice.
For imperative sentences, we use let when we change the active voice into passive voice.
Example 1. Shut the door. Active voice. Let the door be shut. Passive voice. Keep the book on the table. Active voice. Let the book be kept on the table. Passive voice.
The auxiliary verbs in the beginning of interrogative sentences such as has, have, had, will, shall, can, may, and etc. do not change their position at the beginning of the sentence when the active voice is changed to passive voice.
Example 1. Have you eaten your breakfast? Subject you. Object your breakfast. Verb in active voice. Have eaten. Present perfect tense. Verb in passive voice. Have been eaten.
Therefore, the interrogative sentence given above will change in the passive voice as follows.
Have your breakfast been eaten by you? Will he reach the place? Subject he. Object the place. Verb in active voice. Will reach. Simple future tense. Verb in passive. Will be reached.
Therefore, the given interrogative sentence will change in the passive voice as follows.
Will the place be reached by him?
The question words do not change its position in the WH type questions. The question word who changes to by whom and whom changes to who.
Who invented the telephone? Active voice. Verb in active voice. Invented. Simple past tense. Verb in passive voice. Was invented. By whom was the telephone invented? Passive voice. Whom did she search? Active voice. Verb in active voice. Did plus search. Simple past tense. Who was searched by her? Passive voice. When did you write the letter? Active voice. When was the letter written by you? Passive voice. Where have you kept my lunchbox? Active voice. Verb in active voice. Have plus kept. Present perfect tense. Where has my lunchbox been kept by you? Passive voice. What had your brother explained to you? Active voice. Verb in active voice. Had plus explained. Past perfect tense. What had you been explained by your brother? Passive voice.
Direct and indirect object. A direct object answers the question of who, whom or what. An indirect object answers the question of to whom, or for what.
Mr. Pradeep teaches us Hindi. Active voice. Teaches what? Hindi. Direct object. To whom? Us. Indirect object. Both the objects can become the subject in the passive voice. We are taught Hindi by Mr. Pradeep. Passive voice. Hindi is taught to us by Mr. Pradeep. Passive voice. The teacher has given the students the books. Active voice. The students have been given the books by the teacher. Passive voice. The books have been given to the students by the teacher. Passive voice.
Direct and indirect object with to. For example,
Raghav presented a check to Ravi on his birthday. Active voice. A check was presented by Raghav to Ravi on his birthday. Passive voice. Ravi was presented a check by Raghav on his birthday. Passive voice. Sophia had sold a car to a doctor. Active voice. A car had been sold to a doctor by Sophia. Passive voice. A doctor had been sold a car by Sophia. Passive voice.
The subject they. If the subject of the active voice starts with they and we don't know who they are, then it can be neglected.
They arrested the criminals. Active voice. The criminals were arrested. Passive voice. They will have sent the contractors to London. Active voice. The contractors will have been sent to London. Passive voice. They were building a dam across the river. Active voice. A dam was being built across the river. Passive voice. Thank you.